Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to see all of you here. The journey of the Shiva trilogy that you just saw has been absolutely fantastic. For the readers, like this young lady here, who can't seem to get enough of Amish, for us as publishers, and most importantly, for Amish himself, who's embarking on yet another exciting journey to engage with his audiences. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you this evening, Amish. We are also very, very honored and pleased to welcome senior journalist and commentator Shopan Das Gupta, who will be in conversation with Amish. Ladies and gentlemen, Amish and Shopan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. I was told very strictly by my publisher that as soon as I come on stage, I should make a short speech and say immediately what I'm going to write about, and then we can take the conversation forward. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to write about. I'm going to tell you my topic with a story. Westland and I, we signed a deal a few years back, and at that point of time, to be honest, they had no idea what I was going to write about. Frankly, even I had no idea. We signed a deal kind of blind, hoping that something would emerge. And I was, speaking with Gautam, who is the CEO, Sharwani, who is my editor. She's out there. Say hi. Everyone clap for her. She's the one who makes my books seem kind of decent. And Anuj Bari, my agent, my family who are here. My kid is here. My kid and my wife, Neil. Neil is here, and my wife, Preeti, and my family. And they're always there at the beginning. And I was talking to all of them because I wasn't sure what subject should I write on. I was weighing various subjects, and I simply couldn't make up my mind. And this went on for many months. And as usually happens with me, when I can't make a decision, Lord Shiva steps in and makes the decision for me. And that's actually what happened with me. I was at a Lit Fest where an incident happened. And that incident actually upset me so much that I made the decision on that day that this is a subject I'm going to write about. I was so upset that I actually wrote an article as well, which was published in Hindustan Times. I'm talking about, more than a year ago. So let me tell you about that incident. I was at this Lit Fest. This was in Mumbai. And while talking about a particular incident, as an example, I quoted the example of Lord Ram. And I stepped out at the end of the event, and this lady came up and spoke to me. And I know her. She's a friend. I know her. She's not a secular extremist. Not the kind who hates every religion, especially their own. She's a religious liberal, I think, like all of us here, that we are deeply religious and deeply liberal. Now, she came and spoke to me, and she said that, why did you use the term Lord when you spoke of Ram? So I said, I respect him, so I'll use the term Lord. Why shouldn't I? And she said that, I know you, I know the way your family is, I know you respect the women in your family, so how can you refer to Ram as Lord? And then she went on to say, frankly, some pretty rude things about Lord Ram. And I was deeply upset by that. Like I said, I was so upset that I actually wrote an article, on it. And I feel that many times, I'm not saying that what Lord Ram did with Sita Ma was fair. That was unfair. But that's one aspect of his life. There is an entire story about him. And Lord Ram is called Maryada Purushottam, which many times we erroneously translate as the perfect man. Actually, Maryada Purushottam means the perfect follower of rules. That's what Lord Ram was. That's what Maryada Purushottam means. There were others in history like Lord Ram as well, who were perfect followers of rules. And many of them were brilliant for the societies that they led, but they struggled with their personal lives. Consider Gautam Buddha. My wife is a practicing Buddhist. She still benefits from the wonderful philosophies that Lord Buddha left behind. But if we consider his family life, he left his wife and child and actually never went back to them. But we look at Gautam Buddha as a whole. Hi, Neil. Okay, I have to say hi to Neil. He always insists on that. Hi. Everyone say hi to Neil. Hi. Okay, there you go. But if we look at Gautam Buddha, we always look at his entire life and consider him in entirety, not just at one aspect of his. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, who's revered as the father of the nation, who did a lot of good for our society. There's no doubt about that. But he too struggled with his personal life. He had problems with his wife. He had problems with his children. But that was only one aspect of his entire persona. If you're willing to look at Mahatma Gandhi in entirety, if you're willing to look at Gautam Buddha in entirety, why are we not willing to look at Lord Ram in entirety? And that actually, and this is what I tried to write in my article, and that's what I'm hoping to do with my books. So this is essentially the story of Lord Ram. It's told over a series. Like all my stories, they're damn long, so they actually become a series of books. At this point in time, I don't know how many books it will be. It will probably be 4 or 5, maybe more, I'm not sure. And yeah, so that's what I have to announce to you, that the series, the next series is on Lord Ram, and the first book of it will be called the Scion of Ikshvaku. And for those frowning, Ikshvaku was the founder of Lord Ram's dynasty. He was the founder of the Suryavanshis. The book will release, inshallah, before my birthday, which is in October. So it will certainly release this year, and we are working hard at it. So anyway, so that's my speech. And now, Sobanda.
Okay, thanks Amish. Before we start questioning him, being in a literary festival, there are a lot of people who write, but I think there are very few people who are read. And I think Amish is one of those exceptions, because the skill of communicating is really something which is the blessings of Shiva, which is given to you. And so, a trilogy on Lord Ram.
Probably more.
Probably more.
Yeah.
Why did you depart from Shiva?
Lord Shiva hasn't left me, he's still with me. But I mean, look, the Shiva trilogy was a trilogy, and I can't release a trilogy in 4 parts. I'm a maths graduate, and hopefully I should be able to count. And since the 3rd book was released, the Shiva trilogy is over. But if you actually, wait for a few decades when I've written all my books, hopefully you guys will see a pattern. You will see that all my books are along a continuum of this great race which I believe inhabited India. I call them the Vedic people of our age, and all my books are on a continuum from the creation of the Vedic people around 12,000 years ago when they arose to their destruction around 3,500 years ago. And I believe that's what I wrote at the end of the Vayuputras, that perhaps we are the unworthy descendants of those great Vedic people, and all my ideas are actually along this continuum, various major story points of the story of the great Vedic people of our age.
Yeah, well, I know this is a sort of a sneak preview of the book, and I think it would be unfair to ask you to give away too much. But at the same time, the issue of Lord Ram, I think people view Lord Ram in various ways. And before I come to you, let me ask you about the tone of the book. Normally, there is one discourse which takes the form of recitation. There is another which takes the form of a pravachan.
Correct.
Which is what we are familiar with. Are you setting out a third path, or is it a pravachan in the 21st century mold?
No, I am not capable of pravachans. Yeah. I think what I see, this is going to be like the Shiva trilogy. It is going to be a fast-paced adventure, which hopefully you guys will enjoy. But through that adventure, hopefully you will get to understand what I feel of Lord Ram, some of the philosophies of Lord Ram, and there are issues that I am dealing with in this, that what should an ideal society be like? There are questions that we are grappling with today in India. So I will try and grapple with these issues through this story. But I can assure all of you here, especially the youngsters, it will be like the Shiva trilogy. It will be a fast-paced adventure. Hopefully, you will not take more than a night to finish the book. But it does take me time to write it, but yeah, hopefully it will not take more than a night to finish the book.
You said it takes you time to write it. Is it accompanied by a lot of rigorous research? Or is it allegorical in the sense that you're more interested in giving a contemporary message?
There are a few components to this. There is of course research of our scriptures and our philosophies of Indian scriptures, Indian philosophies. That frankly is just, I'm just good fortune of birth. That's how I know much of what I know. My grandfather was a Pandit in Banaras. My first exposure to our epics was whenever we would visit Banaras, and we come from a humble family. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud of it. We've risen from humble origins. My grandfather used to, go on weekends, and he would go to Assi Ghat, and he would take the Ramcharitmanas with him, and sometimes maybe other scriptures, and he would actually go and just sit down and read 1 or 2 pages, and he would do a pravachan actually. He would just explain it, and it was free of cost. and anyone could come and sit down with him, and he used to insist that all his grandkids had to come along. He used to hold us by hands and take us. My father, of course, told him that why don't you do something more practical, like do tuitions and earn some money which the family could use. But my grandfather said that, look, if you've been blessed with some knowledge of our scriptures, it's your duty to speak. And we used to sit around, listen to him. I don't know how much of it we actually understood at that age. My elder brother and sister were older, so they're elder, so they were older. So they would probably understand a lot more. But I think something goes in the back of the mind somewhere. And I remember we would walk back, holding hands, and he would buy some milk and we'd go back to his house. That was actually how we got introduced to much of our scriptures and mythology. So just good fortune of birth. And we were a very religious and a very liberal family, which in traditional India is not a contradiction, which means we were encouraged to ask questions. If things didn't make sense, you were supposed to ask questions. And Baba used to say you're supposed to ask questions even to God. You're not supposed to take anything at face value. So that's how I know much of what I know. The second thing is, of course, reading. I love reading. My entire family, all of us are voracious readers. I read anywhere between 4 to 8 books a month, and I've been reading at that pace for decades. So all that, I guess, knowledge goes somewhere in the back of the mind. That is, if you will, the research. While writing, I do no research. It distracts me. While writing, I just go with the flow. I just let him do his work, and I'm just a channel.
No, acquisition of knowledge is one thing. Dissemination of knowledge is probably far more difficult. And in your case, what is very interesting is how you've been able to disseminate whatever you've got to say and make it popular, particularly to the young. And I was just walking down with him in the gateway, and it's just, he could well have been a Bollywood star. And that's flattering, because normally India is not a reading country. But he sells, I thought he sold 6 figures. I was corrected, he sells in 7 figures. So what is it, that enables you to communicate so lucidly and touch that chord?
I think it was the skills learned as a banker. I don't know if you guys are aware, bankers are fantastic at communication, especially life insurance guys. Okay, that joke fell flat actually. No, honestly, I never even wanted to be a writer. I'm being honest. I'm not sure I was an ideal communicator. I was very academically oriented when I was young. I graduated in mathematics actually. I was active in sports, boxing, gymnastics, those kind of things, but I don't think I was ever creative or brilliantly communicative. I was able to get my point of view across, but I think the story itself, one has to honestly admit, it is not my creativity. There is, to paraphrase Shakespeare, there are some people who are born writers, some people who achieve writing, the skills of writing after a lot of hard work, and some people have writing thrust upon them. I'm from that last group. It was thrust upon me, and it was thrust upon me by Lord Shiva. Why he did it, I don't know. Because I'd written absolutely nothing fictional, no creativity ever before the Immortals of Meluha. And I just kind of open the laptop, and it's like I get to enter this parallel universe and I get to record what I see. And I've said this many times, I'll repeat, what if Lord Shiva had actually picked a talented writer? Imagine how great the books could have been.
Oh, how little they would have sold. You're talking about communicating skills of a banker. I think, without being unflattering, even used car salesmen are very good at communicating. That's the caricature. But I don't want to really take up too much time in conversing with Amish, because, as a sort of person who's on the wrong side of the 50s, it's a bit of a fuddy-duddy to ask questions. So there are many more youngsters here who are his real, true fans. And I think it would be unfair not to give as many of them an opportunity to ask a few questions. But just remember one thing, it is a sneak preview of his book. Don't ask him to reveal all, because there'll be nothing left to read. So let's just get a few hands.
But before that, there is one thing. I think the publishers had a trailer that they've made.
You've normally played trailers. You've got one now.
Right. I know it's kind of, normally we make a trailer for a book launch, but here just for the announcement of the subject, they have made a trailer. This is not going to be as hi-fi as my normal book launch trailers. Remember, the budgets are smaller, it's only a subject announcement. But there is a damn good trailer, I think, and They want to play that and then we will have some
Okay.
Q&As. Hopefully someone will take a mic around. Do you have that? Hopefully now there's a mic going around and I'll answer a few questions, but I can't answer too much about my book because my publisher will kill me. They have a gun in their bags. Okay.
I'm Niransh, a great fan of yours.
Thank you.
And sir, why not Mahabharata? You just said that you will write about Mahabharata, an unadulterated version of Mahabharata.
Right.
At the end of Vayuputras, and now we're seeing this Ram and all that.
Because unfortunately,
I was just waiting, sir, because I haven't read Mahabharata completely, and I was waiting for your version so I can read it, because I really liked the way you described Shiva and all. So why not Mahabharata? You haven't completed a research or something?
unfortunately, at the Lit Fest, when that woman asked me a question, she asked me a question on Lord Ram, not on Lord Krishna. So that decision was made at that time. Because I was so upset, I decided this is a subject I'm going to write on. I will write the Mahabharata as well, trust me, as soon as I'm done with this. As long as someone asks me on Lord Krishna at that time.
Evening, sir. My name is Swapnil.
Hi, Swapnil.
Hi, I'm a really big fan of your work.
Thank you.
And I know we're not supposed to ask about the book, but I just had one question.
But you're a kid, so you're going to break the rules in any case.
Yes.
The hell with the rules.
Yeah. The central theme of the Shiva trilogy was conquering evil. It was about good versus evil and understanding what good is and what evil is. Will this theme be continuing, or are you switching to a new theme with the Ram books?
Damn good question. Now, how do I answer this without giving away too much of the book? Okay, you kids are tough, yeah. Okay. Yes, there is a core philosophy. Okay, all my books, they have some core philosophies that I hope to convey. Let me just say that this is an exploration into what is an ideal society and what choices does a society have to make. There is, perfection happens only when you attain moksha, okay? But what is an ideal society? Yes.
Hello. Yeah, Amish. This is Swapna from DNA.
Where?
Hi.
Hi Swapna.
My question is, when are your books going to be converted into a full-fledged film, Bollywood film?
The Shiva trilogy, the Indian language movie rights are contracted with Karan Johar and they are working on the script. This is a big budget movie, so it will take some time for it to come out because even pre-production takes time. It will take a few years. It's not going to happen very soon, and it's going to be a series of movies, so it will take a bit of time, but I'll certainly keep you guys informed.
Hi Amish. I think that young boy's question emanated from the fact that Lord Shiva, your Lord Shiva was a god, but he was cool. Is your Lord Ram going to be cool?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think perhaps India needs to start considering that just maybe following rules can also be cool. I think that is a conversation maybe we should start having. But there is another aspect. Look, what is it that we find cool? We find rebels cool. And actually I realized when I started writing of Lord Ram, he was a rebel. Because he was rebelling against some of the practices in his day. At least that's the way I see him. In that sense, he was a rebel, and rebels are cool. Okay, hi.
Hi Amish, this is Manu. I guess it's deemed that I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
I read this book called Ravana from Anand Neelakantan.
Right.
And it told about Ram from a very different point of view, and which I felt was it was offensive to me. So are you gonna give both sides of Ram, or are you just gonna stick to a neutral one and show what it's gonna be about?
You would have read my books, you would have seen that actually there are two sides to everything. I'm of course, you know, this is a book which sees Lord Ram as a hero, but I think that's that. I shouldn't give out too much now. But what I do appreciate is that you did find something offensive, but you're calm about it, and that to me is a testament to your liberalism and a testament to Indian liberalism. But I can assure you my book is not offensive.
Hello Amish, thank you. I am Ananta Giri from Chennai.
Hi.
You presented Maryada Purushottama as the highest follower of rule. Now this understanding of Maryada and rule, I think it needs critical rethinking. Because Maryada is not rule, Maryada is dignity.
Yeah.
So therefore,
The right way.
no, it is dignity. It is even not the right way.
Okay,
So therefore the whole idea of dignity, and without revealing too much, how are you dealing with the issue of Supernekha, for example? It is not that Lord Rama has been not so fair to Sita. See, he also has not very fair to Supernekha.
Or
Good
Kumbhakarna
point.
for that
Good
matter.
point. Unfortunately, I can't answer you right now. I will handle this issue. I can't answer you right now without giving away too much of my book. When the book is launched, I promise I will answer this question.
But that would be in the first...
that'll probably be in a subsequent book, but you will get an idea because it won't move that far ahead, but you will get an idea.
Amish,
Yeah.
this side. I'll not probe you further for what exactly the book is going to be about. I'm just curious to know, is it the same series for which you would hit the headlines for signing the 5 crore deal?
Yeah, basically your question is.
Is it
I
the
think,
same series?
Yes, it is the same series, and I think your question is directed more to Westland because, you know, will they actually recover that money? And I'm sure they will.
I understand that you still have the gun pointed at you, but I wanted to make sure.
Hi, Amish. I'm Ritvik from
Hi,
Delhi.
Ritvik. Hi, Ritvik.
I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask, could we have an exciting new look? I'm not pushing you towards that, which could answer questions which prompted you to write that article about what religion is, about secularism and all. If we have a look at the same gods which you are targeting in a modern day scenario, like Percy Jackson's kind of.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the perspective is to speak of society, where I will address many of these issues. But the aim is not to make it a boring pravachan. The aim is to make it an adventure. And how does one create that society? Like that, the Sanskrit hymn. There was a part of the trailer. That was written by me and a Sanskrit scholar called Mrunali Nevalkar, who I work with, and she's brilliant in Sanskrit. And if we'll hopefully explain that hymn on a Facebook page or something. But that hymn is essentially about hold your head high, you live in Ram's kingdom, and what are the values that you should follow to hold your head high, right? So it speaks of fight always for justice, treat everyone as equal, protect the weak, and know that dharma is above all, okay? These are the 4 lines, those are the Sanskrit, that's what it actually means, and at the end of it, you build a society like this, you can hold your head high, because you can proudly say, I live in the kingdom of Ram.
I think let's have the last 2 questions.
When writing about Lord Shiva and then writing about Lord Ram, did you find any commonalities between them or any stark differences between the 2 characters, and how? I hope that doesn't give away too much of the book though.
Yeah, if I go into the characters, I'll give away some stuff. But let me tell you an interesting insight. Many of the worshippers of Lord Shiva know of the 1,000 names of Lord Shiva, right? It's there in many of the Shaivite Purans. One of the names listed among the 1,000 names of Lord Shiva is Vishnu, right? And any Vaishnavas out here, any people who worship Lord Vishnu? Just one? Okay. Okay, I'm sure there are many. Many of the Vaishnavas, one of the, oh, you're a Vaishnava as well, sir, fantastic. Many of the Vaishnavas, one of the most beautiful prayers that they have to worship Lord Vishnu is the Vishnu Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Vishnu. One of the names listed in the 1,000 names of Vishnu is Shiva. Okay? That's actually quite interesting. They are both one and the same. Now, they are different manifestations. Their characters may be different, but the root is the same. And I think that's what I've learned.
Okay.
And the last
Good
question.
evening, sir.
Hi.
मेरा नाम गायत्री है.
नमस्कार गायत्री.
और मैं आपकी बहुत बड़ी फैन हूँ. मैंने शायद आपकी तीनों बुक्स 4 से या 5 दिन में पढ़ दी थी.
अरे बाप रे, आप तो काफ़ी मतलब धुआंधार पढ़ती हैं आप.
थैंक यू. सर मुझे मेरा क्वेश्चन, जब मैंने बुक्स पढ़ी थी तो मेरे को एक चीज़ मेरे दिमाग में बार बार आ रही थी कि जब आप बुक्स लिख रहे थे तीनों, उस टाइम पे आपके दिमाग में ऐसा क्या आया था कि भगवान शिव, जिनको हम मानते हैं, जिनकी पूजा करते हैं, उनको इंसान या मानव के रूप में देखना और उनके बारे में इंसान समझ के उनके बारे में लिखना, आपने ऐसा क्या सोच के उनके बारे में लिखा था?
देखिए, एक तरीके से तो मैं जवाब ऐसे भी दे सकता हूँ कि मैंने बहुत घोर सोच विचार करके ये किताब लिखा। और कुछ फ़लसफ़े ऐसे हैं हमारे भारतीय संस्कृति में जिसके बारे में अगर आप सोचें तो जैसे भगवान की तरफ अगर हम देखें तो 4 फ़लसफ़े हैं। एक तो ऐसे हैं कि भगवान निर्गुण निराकार हैं, जैसे पुराने ज़माने में ब्रह्मन कहा जाता था, आजकल परमात्मा कहते हैं, कुछ लोग एकम कहते थे, वो निर्गुण निराकार हैं। दूसरा फ़लसफ़ा ऐसा है कि भगवान ने आकार लिया। आकार क्यों लिया? क्योंकि निर्गुण निराकार भगवान को समझना काफ़ी मुश्किल होता है, तो वो आकार लेते हैं शायद मनुष्य की तरह या किसी और की तरह। जैसे पहले विष्णु अवतार जो थे वो मत्स्य रूप थे, मतलब फिश के रूप में थे। इसलिए आप देखेंगे जो राम जी का जो सिंबल जो मैंने लिखा है इंडस वैली का, बीच का जो सिंबल है वो मत्स्य का रूप है, फिश का, एंड दैट आई बिलीव इज़ द सिंबल ऑफ विष्णु इन दोज डेज। तो वो आकार भी लेते थे ताकि वो हमारे कुछ और करीब आ जाएं, तो हम उन्हें समझ सकें। एक तीसरा फ़लसफ़ा होता था कि भगवान अवतार लेते थे ताकि मनुष्य की तरह वो उनका जन्म होता था, वो अपने कर्म करते थे और फिर वो उनकी मृत्यु हो जाती थी और वो वापस चले जाते थे। मृत्यु शायद गलत शब्द होगा, मे बी द बेस्ट वे टू पुट इट इज़ ही लेफ्ट हिज मॉर्टल बॉडी, ठीक है। जैसे अमेरिकन लोग उसको एवतार बोलते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग तो अवतार बोलते हैं। और चौथा फ़लसफ़ा जो है कि इंसान खुद भगवान बन जाए, इंसान अपने अंदर के भगवान को जगा ले, जैसे गौतम बुद्ध के बारे में हम कह सकते हैं। तो ये फ़लसफ़ा भी रहा है, तो मुझे ये फ़लसफ़ा काफ़ी इंस्पायर करता है। शायद इसलिए किताब इस द्वारा निकली। लेकिन ये एक लंबी कहानी होगी कि मैंने कुछ घोर सोच विचार करके ये कहानी लिखी। असलियत यह है कि भाई वो मुझे भेजते रहे और मैं लिखता गया। बहुत अच्छा होता अगर मैं बोल सकता कि भाई मैं एक बुद्धिजीव हूँ, इतना सोचता हूँ, लेकिन असलियत वो है कि भाई जो क्रिएटिविटी है वो उनका है और मैं बस एक चैनल हूँ, मैं बस लैपटॉप में डाल देता हूँ उसको।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, इतना खूबसूरत सवाल आपने पूछा।